Eagles are 2-0. We aren't playing the best football right now, but it doesn't matter. We've won two games. Welcome to Eagles and 8. Again, I like to delay my analysis before I go live or go on YouTube, sorry, and talk about the game and give a bit of analysis because Thursday, obviously, a little bit tired from the amazing time zone difference that we have here in England when you're supporting the NFL team. I'm just lucky that obviously East Coast and not West Coast teams because it's tough when the Phillies are on the West Coast or the Sixers and the NFL has their set schedule. So the NFL is a little bit easier to follow when it comes to trying to support my NFL team, my American teams. So last week I was kind of saying about Gainwell deserves a bit of credit, and I did mention Jake Elliott, but I didn't mention him a lot. And I think today I'm going to mention Jake Elliott. Now, with a soccer background, football background, I appreciate kickers, but kickers aren't really appreciated in America, right? I get it. You know, you run on the field, you're kicking a field goal, you get back off. There's not a lot to you, but my God, he's come up clutch the last 2 weeks, and I think he's come up with 61 yarder. I think we were playing. I think Nick was just quite happy to go in at half time as it was, and then the fact that the guys got there, then Jake made the kick. That was a big play in my opinion. Really stretched the game out a bit more, getting those extra points in, and I think showed the Vikings that if we get into your half, we're getting points, whether it's 3 or 7. Now we obviously always prefer 7. We love that. We love to see those deep balls. We love to see the 70-yard passes. We like to see those 20, 30-yard rushes. But if we're struggling and we need to get 3 points, we take the 3 points. And there's no one I have more faith in than Jake Elliott. Fantastic player. Did a lot of big kicks for us during the Super Bowl year. He's done some other ones as well, but I think these last two games has really shown his worth to us. And if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have won that game. We wouldn't be 2-0 if we didn't have Jake Elliott. If we had a kicker that wasn't as good as Jake Elliott, we would not be 2-0 right now. We'd probably be 0-2. Now, the positive is that the special teams haven't been great, and the offense hasn't been super good, but hopefully as time goes on, that will happen. But big kudos to Jake Elliott. You can't not hate on him. You can't hate his position or anything like that. A kicker saved the day, and that's part of football. It's called football, right? So you use your foot to kick the ball, or foot and the ball. So it's technically just doing what the game's called, right? So well done, Jake Elliott. Next bit, the offense. I mean, DeAndre Swift, great player, fantastic, find the right spots. I actually think he's an upgrade on Miles. I loved how he ran. Now it might be the Vikings defense isn't all that great. I think they've got a good defense. I think as the season goes on, they still at the end of the season they will finish in the top 10 potentially for defensive, stats of some sort. Maybe not the rushing, maybe I might be wrong there, but I think they're going to be around that figure. And he just tore them apart. We've got the best offensive line, or one of the best, if I'm not being, super biased. And he just found the gaps and hit them. And the question then pops up, why wasn't utilised in week one? Now, Gamer was having a great game, and I really want to see those a 1-2 punch combo, right? I really do. I think Penny looks washed. Scott's obviously returning stuff, so I expect him not to get as many carries, but I want to see that combo. And then that will open up the game against worse teams, So I expect better against Tampa. We had 4 days to turn it around. We didn't have a lot to work on. But as we go forward, I want to see that Gainwell. I want to see that Swift, and then maybe a bit of Penny, and I think when I look back on it, that's like our Super Bowl trio, right? Blunt was kind of, I wouldn't say washed up, but he could do his bit, and maybe Penny will get some touchdowns by being that bit more brute. And then you had your Ajayi, which we obviously got later on in the year, and that's who I'm repping today, because he's British like me, English like me, in Swift, and then you had your sort of Clement, sort of picking things up that you could say is Kenny Gainwell. So I think going forward, we've got the run game, and you got Jalen this time as well. So it's there's going to be there. It's going to be there for us to run the ball and get points with the offensive line. Now, obviously, the big talking point outside of the game is going to be the AJ and Jalen Hurts thing. I haven't seen any update on that. Nick kind of tried to address it. it's going to happen when a player doesn't get the ball as much right. Smith got a great touchdown. There was a couple of big plays that were decent. AJ had a touchdown. How it wasn't called PO, I don't know. That was definite pass interference on him when he was jumping down, and they definitely grabbed it off him. I think that was PI. Grabbed hold of him. Sorry. So yeah, I think he had his chance, but we didn't go back to him after that. Get his frustrations, and there'll be games where that happens, where he will be frustrated, and there'll be games where he's going to be loving life and he's going to be getting his usual stats that he had last year. And I'm confident in the offense stepping up and getting back to that level as time goes on. I'll be very shocked. I fully expect after the third game that I'll be talking how great the offense is. So I'll give him sort of a C. So, Jake Elliott's your A, Swift's your A, and then I think as a whole, offense probably is going to be a C. They did enough what they needed to do. You expect better from Jaden, and you expect better, sort of from the wide receivers to get open more often than what they did on there. Then you go to the defense. I think the defense played a really good game. I think that they definitely deserve an A. You just saw, Carter, Smith, Cox. They're just in the middle. We're just dominant there. And I know there's an issue of linebacker, and considering we're missing so many players, I thought they did a really good job. And yes, the Vikings got a late touchdown and made it a bit closer, but it was kind of stat padding. I had Kirk Cousins in my fantasy, so I'm not going to moan about that. But yeah, I didn't feel at all that the game was going to be lost because of that. I thought there was frustration moments. The offense did the defense did what they could do. They forced turnovers, special team first turnovers. We did what we could. The offense let them down at the end of the day with not scoring the points. But what they didn't do against New England was they controlled the clock a lot more, kept the ball a lot more. So let's hope that 2 or 3 lads are going to be back for that next game against Tampa. Maddox is the only one I'm potentially sort of kind of concerned about. I think the other guys, Blankenship, and I think he's going to be back in, and I think that you could then potentially see a bit more sort of, I don't know, continuity at the back there between the secondary, because that was a big miss not having him there. Maddox kind of filled in that safety position. Safety in linebackers is definitely an issue for us. So having Blankenship there is going to be a big sort of addition that we need. And obviously Bradbury on the other side, we need him back as well. But I say Blankenship's probably the one I if I had to choose who the key missing player was from Thursday night on the defensive side. For me, it's him. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, great win. Great to be 2-0 and not be perfect with it. I'm happy with that. But big kudos to Jake Elliott. That's my Eagles and 8. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, like and subscribe, and share as well, because the more views I get, the better I feel. And I want to be able to one day get enough views that I earn money and I fly to Philly for free rather than having to pay like I do all the time when I come out there. Even though I've got some good people that look after me when I land in PA. Thanks for watching.